Hello, and welcome to episode 18 of the Talkin' Rangers podcast. Today is Thursday, February 8th. We've got a lot to get into today on the Talkin' Rangers podcast. They are back from the All-Star break, 2 games in and 2 wins. They have now extended their win streak 3-2, dating back to their 7-2 win against Ottawa prior to the All-Star break. Joe, how's it going today? Rangers are turning things around, and it's been some fun hockey to watch over the last couple days.
Yeah, I feel like that the Senators game might have been like a change of direction here for the team. Like you would rattle off 3 in a row. Jonathan Quick is red hot, dude. Like you could see the Rangers going a little bit of a run. I was looking at their schedule. I mean, obviously you got some tough games coming up because like it's the NHL. But I mean, I know they played Chicago. That's 4 in a row if they win that. Then they come home, play Calgary. Definitely a winnable game, better than Calgary. That could be 5 in a row. Like the Rangers could put a little bit of win streak here.
Yeah, definitely. And like you mentioned, that Ottawa game, after the way they started that game, hope seemed really bleak where they fell down 2-0 and then they scored 7 unanswered goals and absolutely dominated the rest of the way after those 2 goals in the first period and in the second period for Ottawa. And it's almost like that was a wake-up call. And now they got that win, went into the All-Star break. And the All-Star break happened at the perfect time for the New York Rangers because a lot of times you see the All-Star break happen for teams where they're hot, they're playing well, they go into the break and they cool off and they come out not hot and not playing well. For the Rangers, it was the opposite. You go into the break, you're struggling. Even with that Ottawa win, they were still coming off a stretch where they lost 4 of their last 5 games, including losses to teams like San Jose, which is ugly, and even a bad loss at home against Vegas. So to go into the All-Star break, to come out of it, is exactly what you wanted, and it was against 2 really good teams in the Lightning and the Avalanche. So before we get to the main story, and by the way, this is actually episode 19. I messed up. I said 18 earlier. But before we get into the main story, which is Jonathan Quick, just what were your impressions over the last 2 games and what you saw from the team? We'll dive into the 2 games here in a little bit, but just what are your overall impressions from those 2 games? Because again, really good defensive effort, putting pucks on net. But earlier in that Avalanche game, it was rough, but put pucks on net. Towards the end, Lafreniere got the overtime winner. Again, we'll take a little bit of a deeper dive into it, but just your impressions come out of the break there.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, just the defense. You can see the defense kind of coming back where they're not really like it was earlier in the season. They're not really giving up. Not giving up as many chances as they are on the rush. Like obviously, I mean McKinnon, he's McKinnon, but that's a great goal by him. Obviously, Miller kind of got walked, but besides that, they shut the Avalanche down pretty well. I thought after the first period, even into the game last night, it was just defensively in the 3 zones. I thought were really good. They weren't really letting anything come out of the offensive zone, like on rushes. I thought they handled the rush well in the neutral zone. I thought positionally in the defensive zone was good. So overall, I mean, I guess we had to kind of just take the ride of the ups and downs where they were going through the last month, and it seems like they can get back on track in this month. And after a bad January, it seems like this February could kind of erase that and get us back on the cup run. But I think the biggest takeaway is 2 things. One, Jonathan Quick is playing really good. Yep. Could that be a combination of obviously the defense and him playing well? Yes. Obviously, the second thing would just be the defense. I think those 2 aspects of the game have really shown and really been heightened up over the last 2-3 games where like this is the Rangers hockey that we were expecting or we've seen prior to January. Just great defense, great goaltending. The only thing I would say, if you want to get like anything negatives, is maybe the power play could be better. But besides that, obviously 3 wins in a row is great.
Yeah, we went from losing in the first round to we're Stanley Cup champions again in just about a little over a week. But yeah, it's good. And like you said, Chicago coming up tomorrow night, very winnable game. Chicago's, I think, only got 30 points this year. They've been a disaster, and especially Bedard still coming back from the jaw. And then, of course, the Flames at home. You got the Canadians, all 3 teams winnable, and even the outdoor game against the Islanders. And we'll talk more of that next week. There'll be a little bit more juice in that game, but the Islanders are very beatable. The way the Rangers are playing right now, these last 3 games, anybody's beatable. But we've talked about Jonathan Quick here a little bit. We'll take a little bit of a deeper dive into it. He's been a monster. He's been great. I think right now, maybe this is probably the most And it's the conversations come up a couple times during this year, but I feel like right now, coming out of the All-Star break, seeing what Quick has done over the last 2 nights, and like we said, you got to give a lot of credit to the defense because last night he only faced 18 shots against Colorado, faced 33 shots, put 32 aside, was really good. Last night didn't have to work as hard, and that credit goes to the defense. Trouba back, which was good to see after the suspension. But like, do you feel right now the conversations around Quick and Igor are at their like peak right now out of this entire season? I feel like right now they're at like the hottest they've been all year about Quick maybe actually taking over. And I don't think it's so much Igor's bad play as much it is Jonathan Quick's just been that good. I mean, he's 4th in the league in goals allowed per game. He's 7th in save percentage. You look at the numbers, he's been a top 10, top 7 goalie in a couple different statistical categories. He's been a monster. You feel right
Yeah, I
now like
mean,
is the peak of it?
yeah, I mean, I would say like it had like I don't think it's come out of nowhere. I feel like Quick's played
Yeah.
well the whole season,
Mhm.
and I just think Igor was good at the beginning, then had
Yeah.
a little bit of a lull, then started playing well again,
Better.
and then went down to a really bad streak where Quick has kind of consistently played well the whole
Mhm.
season. So I think that, yeah, I think now where you kind of see Quick even elevating his game, like it's crazy because he's like 30, 36, 37, I think, and he wasn't
Mhm.
good last year, and now he's playing outstanding. Um, I'd say yeah, but I think that's kind of like a good problem to have. Obviously, you want Igor
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
be the guy, but I think it really helps the Rangers and even Igor. I think this is good for him, where like his
Yeah.
bad play isn't gonna really damage the team's record when his backup is playing really well. Obviously, you want him to be playing at the highest level, but I do think obviously Quick's playing really well, and that is kind of shining more light on it. But
Yeah.
I honestly I still have faith in Igor. I think that he'll come around. I think around this time last year, he was kind of not playing great, and then he towards the back half in March, April in the playoffs, he turned it on. So hopefully this like reset or whatever. They said they had a plan coming out of the All-Star break for him. So hopefully this kind of gets him going. And I'd say he's probably going to start tomorrow. Like, you think he's going to start tomorrow?
Igor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, Laviolette mentioned on yesterday that the whole plan was to give Igor. Well, by the time any of you are listening to this, it might be Friday, so 2 days ago. But the whole plan was to give him the 2 days after the break or the 2 games after the break, just to reset, work with Willaire, and obviously get back on track. That would be that Chicago game. So I think he'd stick by his word. But I mean, I wouldn't be against starting Quick. I mean, he's rolling. I mean, the team's won
Yeah.
3 straight. They've all been with Quick, and you talked. I mean, I do think Igor will start, but
Yeah. I don't
I
think they
mean,
should just go too one-sided, especially when you have
yeah,
especially when it's Igor, who you know how good he is.
yeah,
I feel like you don't want to really go away from him too much because then
mhm,
what if he's not confident and then Quick starts
yeah,
playing bad? And I think that kind of doubles on Igor where he's not playing well, and now he realizes Quick's not playing well, so he's like more in his head. I think it's
yeah.
good where you mix him in. I think it's perfect now. I think they got to go every other game. Towards the end of the season, I'd give Igor or more starts to ramp him up for the playoffs. But as if Quick's playing well, I'd go like every other game.
Yeah. Um, and you hope that too, like Igor, just from his perspective, you hope he could take a little bit of he had success at the All-Star game during the weekend. You know, you hope he could take maybe some of that and apply it here. But I will say this, there is a lot of pressure on Igor and he could start pressing. But as you talked about earlier, you mentioned it, and we've known this a lot with Igor. This is the first time in his really career where he's had like this long slump. There's a lot of times, or even earlier in the season, he had a couple bad games and he'd come back and play good hockey for the next 3, 4 straight games where he played really well, lights out. This
Yeah.
has been a long stretch that really kind of lasted, I guess, over the portion of January as a whole. But it always feels like whenever Igor is being counted out at times or there's a lot of pressure on him, he always seems to come up, whether it's the playoffs or, earlier in the season. It always seems like he locks in, realizes he's got to play at another level. He's got to hit another peg in his game. And that could be a positive for him where he realized a lot of pressure on him. He realizes there's a lot of criticism. He's not the automatic number one guy right now. It's kind of 50-50 if they do play
Yeah.
that every other game. And maybe that helps him. Maybe he realized, all right, I got to tighten up. I can't be loose out there. I can't go out there and let up 4 goals against the Blackhawks without Bernard. Like, you know, um, but yeah, I mean, just quick too, back to that to give him, more praise here. Even during that losing streak that he had where he didn't win a game for the rest of December, and then 3 of his 4 starts in February or January didn't win. Even some of those games, like he played well. Like you go back
Yeah, 100%.
earlier, yeah, he played well in that Oilers game. The Rangers just
Even
played like
even in the
garbage.
game, if you want to go as back as far as like in December, or maybe the Oilers game was in December as well, but the game I can recall was at the end of December against the Panthers.
Yep.
He
He
had
made that
4 goals,
crazy
but I
save.
thought he was great in that game.
Yeah.
Especially that crazy like scorpion save. He was unbelievable. I don't think he's played one bad game this year. I don't know if you feel the same way, where it was like Quick was bad. He cost us that game. Couple softies from Quick. We lost because of him. I don't think he's played any bad games to that degree.
No, yeah, I agree. There hasn't been any real bad ones. Yeah, like you said, where it's 5-1 and he just plays like garbage or something like that. I mean, he did have that one game, if we're nitpicking here, but that wild game earlier in the season, I think he started when they blew the lead, but I don't think that was all him. I mean,
I think they kind of just got complacent as a team. They started giving up a lot of chances. I kind of what I can recall from that game is I think a lot of those goals were. I don't think many were his fault in that game. I think there was like a screen or like a giveaway. Like, I mean, he gave up the shootout winning goal. I think went off his back or whatever, right? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
He still got a point though. He still got a point.
Yeah.
Even if you can say he wasn't great that game, he came away with a point.
Yeah. And even, like the winning streak too, we mentioned Florida, we mentioned Edmonton, even that Montreal game, he was solid where they lost in the shootout, unfortunately. But even that Kings game, he let up 2 goals. He made 26 saves. He did a job. You can't win when it's tough to win when your team only scores 1 goal and the offense doesn't provide much. So he's been really, really consistent. He's been really good. So if you had to predict, I think we both agree here, Igor will go tomorrow. Would you go Quick Monday, or would you have to wait and see what Igor does Friday? If Igor plays really well Friday, let's say gets a shutout or 26 saves and 27 shots, Rangers win 4-1, do you play Igor on Monday against the Flames? How do you let that play out there?
I'd probably go Quick on Monday.
No matter what Igor does?
Yeah, I think he's earned it. Like I said, they go like every other till Igor starts to prove otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they'll probably do that as well. Go with Igor, then Quick. And then until you get 2 days off between that Flames game. And then you'll get back, obviously, against they play after that Flames game, they'll play 1 game over the next like 5 days or whatever. 2 games over the next 6 days or something like that. They have 2 days off between that Canadians game and then 2 days off between that Islanders game outdoors. But yeah, it's been really interesting. So you still think like when all is said and done, game 1, Igor is still going to be in net?
Yeah, bearing injury. Yeah, I think he's too important to the team's future. Where we don't know what Quick's going to be. I think he's earned another year, but we don't know how long we have with him. And I think it'd be crazy to do that to Igor after his proven track. Like, honestly, if this continues, the most I'd go and the farthest I'd go with that is a leash on Igor. Like, if he plays bad in game 1, maybe I'd give him game 2. But if he plays 2 bad games, he's getting pulled. You go down 2-0 in the series, I'm putting Quick in. But that's like the most I would go with regards to Quick in the playoffs. I think he only plays if there's an injury or Shesterkin has 2 bad games in a row.
Yeah, I tend to agree as well. I think that's definitely going to be the route they'll head down. And if both struggle, have no fear, Louis Dominguez here.
That'd be funny if Louis Dominguez comes in, 3rd goalie on the roster, kind of like what happened in game 1 of the Penguins series.
Yeah, that would be. I feel like we'd be laughing through the pain at that point, because if it got to a point where Louis Dominguez was in, that would be.
I think they could play well enough to survive without a goalie for a couple games in the playoffs. I don't think they can go all the way, but I think they have the structure to survive a game or 2 without. I mean, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to get into this, but like, what are the chances both of them get hurt? Like, I'm like, I don't think we should. Let's not get into that.
Yeah, we shouldn't be. Yeah. But either way, we move on here to more positive things. So, obviously, like we've said a lot here, 2 games, 2 wins, 2-1 over Colorado. As we get a little bit deeper into this game, the Rangers started out not shooting the puck much. Colorado got a lot of chances on net. Again, they had 33 shots on goal, quick save 32 of them. It wasn't until that third period where the Rangers really started to play a lot better, put more pucks on net. Panarin had a goal, and of course, Lafreniere with another overtime winner. I'll tell you what, Lafreniere has been robbed a lot, but he's clutch. He's done a lot
He
of really
is.
good things in these big moments.
He is.
Columbus earlier in the year, previously in his career, and something about Lafreniere and big goals coming off to the All-Star break, because last year he did the
Yeah,
same
last year the
thing.
Flames, right?
Yep.
You got that
Yep,
game
the
winner
Flames.
against the Flames.
Yep. And then fast forward a year later, he's getting the game winner against Colorado. So what was your impression of this game? A slow start, which I guess is was sort of expected because, coming off the All-Star break, it's a week off, a little bit slow. They did have some chances. They just weren't shooting. But they got the job done. I thought for a while there we were going to get shut out by former Ranger Georgiev, which would have been another former Ranger that plays
Former
well
Ranger
against
killed.
us.
They killed the
Yep.
Rangers, the former Rangers, to get on them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So what was your thoughts on this one, which was definitely a nice win after a slow start?
You know what? Yeah, like obviously first period wasn't great. They almost survived it, where they were kind of not like an onslaught, but Habs definitely controlled play. Didn't really produce many chances in that period. Obviously, give up the goal to McKinnon. I think it was a combination.
That was
It was a combination of a nice move, but I also think Miller got caught though.
Yeah,
it did not
I
look
agree.
good on Miller. And goal was a little soft though. I mean, we were hyping up quick. Obviously, he gave 1 goal that game, but you know what? 1 goal is fine, but yeah, the first period wasn't great, and then I think you could see as the game progressively went on, the Rangers kind of like took control of that game, especially in the third period. They should have scored at least 2-3 goals, at least.
Georgiev played well.
Both goalies.
Yeah,
that was a great game. I thought it was a fun game to watch. Low scoring. They had that spurt of penalties. Freaking, I don't know. I think it was Manson tripped his own guy, and Lafreniere gets the penalty.
Oh yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, there was like a spurt of like 4 penalties, and then there was none for the rest of the game. So it was tightly called, no penalties, low scoring, good goaltending, just a classic playoff style hockey game. And Lavalette, obviously, he's had some iffy decisions, but I kind of, well, for the most part, I like when he makes like the line decisions to like boost up or stack the line, and where that's what he did. Put Panarin, Kreider as advantage. They score, they tie the game. But I thought the whole third period was great by that team. Completely shut down the Avalanche Stars. I thought they did nothing after that first period.
Yeah.
Then you get into overtime, and just Quick made I think a really nice save at the beginning against Makar.
Yeah,
kind of got that overtime going, and then obviously has a secondary assist on the game-winning goal, and then just an unbelievable move by Lafreniere.
Yeah, Lafreniere he's got a little bit of clutch gene in him. I wish more of these would get in the back of the net in regulation because he deserves more goals. I mean, he's had so many chances last night too. He got robbed.
He should have like 13 more goals. I don't think it's crazy to say that. Like double his goals.
No, yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's not a good thing when you can count off at least probably like 8 or 9 just off the top of your head of times he got robbed this year.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And he's got 13 goals this season, obviously, as a whole. Do you think it's just unlucky? Do you think you think it's him? Like he's got to start to finish? Because I know we talked about this last week with the whole unlucky and how long you can use the unlucky label until a point where get to a point where you just got to finish. But I don't know how much more he needs to do. I mean, even last night, he gets so many good chances. You go back to that Canadiens game, he had so many good chances. So many times he just gets robbed.
I don't know, dude. Maybe maybe he's saving all the goals for the playoffs, but it's good. I mean, the thing is, though, obviously you want him to score more, but he's getting the chances.
Yeah.
You got to think they're going to start going. Like, there's going to be a time where, like, out of all, like, the chances he's missed, like, maybe he's going to have, like, a Mika month where he's going to score, like...
Lafreniere February?
He's only played 2 games. He's played 2 games in this month, but either this month or next month, you could see him score maybe like 10 goals in a month, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't, it's
I
like
mean,
he gets the
yeah.
chances. I can't see. I mean, he doesn't play the power play, but like he gets the chances. So
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you can make the case he should already have 2, 3 goals this month just in the last 2 games. That's how many
maybe just
chances
in the
he's
Lightning
gotten.
game.
Yeah, the Lightning game. Yeah, which we'll get to here next. This game was interesting because you had two shots go off the post in the first period, and if you heard that, you would think, oh, there was a lot of scoring chances, there was a lot of offensive action, but this first period was primarily played in the neutral zone. Good pace, not much stoppage to play. Um, a lot of kind of dump and chase, a lot of neutral zone. There wasn't much action until you move into the second period where Himmy Veezy. What a day for Himmy Veezy. Fishbowl Veezy.
Let it
Get
go.
him all-star, I don't know,
Wait, wait,
MVP,
wait.
Hart
The,
Trophy.
the
He should have
fish
been in the All-Star game. All-Star snub.
the Fishbowl brothers combined for 4 points.
Yeah,
How about
you're
that?
right. Barkley
Barkley
Goodrow.
Goodrow,
Extend him.
multi-point
Extend him.
game.
Extend Goodrow. Extend Veezy.
A multi-point game by Barkley Goodrow. What's going on here? We gotta
We
play the
don't
Lightning more
need
often.
we don't need a we don't need a center when you got Brzezinski and
Wait,
Goodrow.
did you see
We
that
need this
stat that I
guy.
posted about the Lightning haven't beat the Rangers in regulation since like
Yeah,
2019. Now that they're 7-0-1 now in the last 8 games, which is
that
crazy.
playoff series still stings. They should have
Besides
won.
the playoffs, like I'm not including
Yeah.
that. Obviously, is not including
No,
playoffs.
yeah, not including.
Yeah,
Regular season they play well because even opening night last year they beat them.
they find a way to beat the
Himmy
Lightning.
Veezy. Himmy Veezy. Himmy V's been awesome. And it's nice to see guys like him get rewarded and in Brzezinski as well, who played well.
11 goals this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Um what were your thoughts too last night? Like both VZ and Brzezinski. Because Brzezinski I thought was really good. He took shots on net, he took some chances, after hearing earlier in this game and even earlier in the game against the Avalanche, shoot the puck, shoot the puck, shoot the puck.
Yeah.
As we've been screaming that for years with this team. 3 shots, pushed the net, got some pressure, got a goal. And it seems like sometimes his mindset is that shot first mentality, even if it's not a grade A chance, even if it's not an excellent opportunity, just to get a puck on net, deflection, whatever happens, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It seems like that's kind of his mindset. Really good game last night. Now, not saying that they don't need a third center. They still need a third line center, but I thought he played well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that he can kind of leapfrog. I mean, I don't know. We're obviously not in the coaching staff. We don't know what they or how they evaluate each players on each line, but there's a chance he can play his way into the playoff roster on that fourth line. I think his ability to play wing and center definitely will help him. Speed, shoots the puck, aggressive, good forechecker. I think he's decently good defensively. But if you could maybe pair him with Gaudreau and VC, that could be a good fourth line in the playoffs. You got a little speed, you got a little skill, a little bit of grit with Gaudreau. But I do think they need a third line center. But as far as that line, I think they're playing really well. I think Gaudreau or Brzezinski, Kakko, and Coley actually meshed pretty well together. They got a bunch of chances, and I think they've been playing well as a whole. And I think a guy that I want to talk a little about too is Kakko. I think he hasn't really gotten a lot of points since coming back, but you could see in the game he's very good defensively. He saved the goal yesterday. I believe it was Nick Paul earlier. Like that doesn't go in the stat sheet, and that's why I think they need to keep it because he has such weird, like not weird, unique attributes in his skill set. Like he's good defensively. He's strong with his skates, and like you need that in the playoffs. Some guy that's going to play well defensively, and I just think he's been playing really well. Like I said, the points haven't been great, but I think down the stretch he's going to play well. I think Coley's a great. Like I think they have the pieces in place for a deep playoff run. They do need a third line center that brings some scoring, and I think if they get that, I'm not saying Brzezinski's been bad, but I don't think he's going to be able to bring the consistent scoring they need. I think here's a hot take. If you get a good center that can provide offense, that's going to be the best 5-on-5 line on the team.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
The third line. If you add a good center,
yeah.
Coley and Kakko, that's going to be the best line of 5-on-5.
So like,
because I think they do everything well.
Yeah, Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Kako because that was going to be actually my next point. Um, in the Avalanche game, I know you tweeted this out. Good against the boards, physicality, all that good stuff. But last night, early in that game, could be a different ball game if Kako doesn't make that play.
Yeah.
Really nice play in the front of the net. I feel like at times too, he's not afraid to get in front of guys, to get in front of shots, get in front of those opportunities.
He's been shooting the
Really good
puck more too.
defensively. Yeah.
He's been shooting the
Yeah.
puck more.
Yeah, definitely. I like what I've seen from Kako defensively. I'd still would like. I know that he has been shooting more and getting some more opportunities. That's the thing with Kako though, is like he's so solid defensively, does a lot of really good things. The offensive upside, the offensive ability finally comes out, he can be a monster, and that's where your point of the third line being that good. If they bring in a center and Kako continues to play and even ups
They'd
his
be great. They
offensive
would be a
game,
great playoff
it'd be
line.
nasty.
Like
Yeah.
great playoff line that could shut the other team's best line
Mhm.
down, grind them
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And Cooley too. Like we talk about a lot. Been very
We're
good
big
this
Cooley
season.
fans. Big
Yeah.
Cooley fans.
Big Cooley fans. Will
Not as
Cooley
big as
fans.
Jimmy VC, but
Not
we're big Cooley fans.
we are the Himmy VC fan club rulers. Cooley's like the next level below. But no, yeah, I mean that line can, if Kako can get a little bit more of a scoring punch, that line, like you said, can grind you down defensively, physicality, good against the boards, get in front of shots, all those good things. It could be nasty. The potential is there. They just need a couple pieces here. Who would be? I know we've sent a lot of mock drafts. Who is like your ideal center? Because we talked about it a little bit last week. Who's your number one center target?
Honestly, I've kind of been doing some more like, if you want to say research or just been watching a little more highlights. I think it's gonna be Adam Henrique.
Yeah,
I think he does
too.
just enough defensively, wins faceoffs, and I think he's got a lot more offensive upside than the other options. Obviously, there could be people that we don't know that are available, but from what the consensus availability among centers towards the deadline, I think he would be a really nice fit. I think
Yeah,
if they can somehow manage, we don't have to get too much into the trade deadline talks, but
yeah.
if they can get Henrique, Vetrano, or Henrique and Tarasenko, I'm pretty confident in this team, especially if you get Igor going. So I think you're starting to see it's we're back. That's all I'm gonna say. We're back.
We're
The
back.
team's coming back.
The masculine urge to say we're back 20 minutes after saying it's over.
This is the life of as a Ranger fan.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they lose tomorrow night, we're done. Season's
Yeah,
over.
season's over. But the Henrique, though, to answer your question, I'd say
Yeah.
Henrique.
No, yeah, I agree. Henrique and Vetrano's up there for me too. I really like Vetrano in the middle of a career year. You definitely take that. And Tarasenko could be this time around Tyler Mott. Maybe we get Tyler Mott again. It was Tyler Mott back. He shouldn't even have left because
Third
he's
time's
coming
charm.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's coming back. But yeah, it was his return. One of the scary things that happened last night was Sergachev getting hurt, which was tough. And most people are on the side of, it was just a freak accident. You hope everything's okay. It's tough to see guys go down like that. But to some people out there that called it a dirty hit on Lafreniere, I don't know what you were watching. You're probably joking, but I've seen some of that pop around today. Not much. And I don't want to make it about that because it is tough, especially for a guy, Sergachev, who missed a lot of time this year, just came back. First time he played since December 19th was last night, missed all of January, comes back after the All-Star break. To get hurt like that and your season is really tough. So you hope everything's okay with him, but you saw the clear up Lafreniere upset, freak accident, but to people saying it was a dirty hit just doesn't really make sense. So hope everything's okay with him as he will get ready for next year. And obviously tough injury to see. Pretty brutal when you saw it in slow-mo. So 2 wins, 3-0 in their last three straight, 32-16-3. And it's good. They're winning right now at the right time too, because the Carolina Hurricanes have lost their most recent, I think their first game coming out of break. Rangers have now, after getting tight where they went into break with just a 2-point lead, they are now back up to a 6-point lead with the last 2 wins. So at the end of this all, do you still believe? I know for a while there we kind of lost hope, but do you still believe if they continue to play this way, they're going to win the Metro?
It'll be close. I kind of have the feeling that bearing a disaster, like a collapse, like they could have a little bit more struggles
Yeah.
towards the end of the season, but I don't see them dropping below the second seed. And I looked at the season end of today. We playing the Lightning, so I'd say they probably end up as the first seed, or they'll win the Metro. They're not going to be like the number one seed in the Eastern Conference, but I think they'll win the Metro.
Who would be your ideal round one matchup? I know we talked about this probably about a month ago. Vibes are high right now, so we can talk about the playoffs. A week ago, we
100%.
couldn't.
Yeah.
A week ago was all off season talk.
Probably say the Flyers, just because I don't think they really have much depth. Young team, not really don't know what their goaltending situation is.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say the Flyers. I'd rather play them than honestly the Lightning or the Devils.
Yeah.
Maybe the Red Wings, possibly.
Yeah. The Flyers side of things, they've definitely began to fall off a little bit, especially ever since the Carter Hart incident. Like they're 5-5 in the last 10, I think. And I know they're back from the break tonight, but they've seen like for a while there, they were sneaking up on the Rangers and the Hurricanes. It was like, watch out, the Flyers. I think the Flyers all year, to be honest, were surprising. Like I think when they started out really fast, we were all saying, oh, by December, by November, they're going to fall apart. This is just a quick couple week stretch to open things up. And when they were still playing well into January, we were all shocked. But I think now they're starting to, some injuries, Carter Hart being out certainly doesn't help their case. I think they're kind of getting back to where they're at. I mean, I think they'll still end up making the playoffs. You see like a team like the Islanders slipping in. Yeah, I'd say
there's a chance that like a team, maybe even like the Devils, go in. I don't want to play. I do not want to play the Devils in the first round.
Neither do I. I still find it hard to fathom that the Devils are this bad. This bad.
Maybe they just overachieved last year, and you don't really know what their goaltending is either. That could be another thing. Is their goaltending?
Yeah. So. Obviously, they've dealt with some injuries too, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out. You know, you've even got a team too, like the Penguins, still sort of hanging around.
Did you see the story about like Dolan
stepping
in and like? Do you believe that?
Doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I believe it because he's a maniac. The guy is a maniac. And one of the reasons the Rangers have had more success over the last decade than the Knicks is because he gets more involved with the Knicks. New York, ownership in New York is so bad. It's so bad. Yeah. You go to almost every team in New York, maybe outside of a couple, the fan base hates their owners. Like the Rangers and Knicks can't stand their ownership. Jets can't stand ownership. Nets, you can't stand ownership. Mets, I think people like Steve Cohen, but
I think people get mad at Hal Steinbrenner, so you can throw the Yankees in there too.
Yeah, a lot of them. But nah, yeah, I mean it's it's so dumb. It's like you go up to, he has got to go into Chris Drury's office and say, hey, I don't want you to make a trade at the deadline to give us a better chance of a Stanley Cup because it's at the Sphere next year and we need to have a first round pick. So I'm going to need you to not focus on the Stanley Cup, not focus on winning a championship, and instead focus on keeping a first round pick. If that's the case, that's a serious problem. Serious.
That would be so stupid. I tend to hope that cooler heads prevail, and if they have an opportunity to add someone, then to trade that pick.
Yeah. I mean, unless if Dolan sees how last year played out, where they brought in two big assets in Tarasenko, Kane, they didn't do anything, and maybe he doesn't want that to happen again. Instead, he'd rather, want the event in Vegas to be all about him, all about the Sphere, Dolan, this and that. But that is terrible. Fans deserve better than that.
Yeah, I pray that.
And they're not even gonna have. What do you say?
I'm saying I'm praying that he doesn't step in and not allow Drury to make that move.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think. You think the report was? I mean, I know it's trustable source, but you think the report maybe was blown out of proportion at all a little bit? It was kind of just a surprising report. to see
I
just
don't
come up
know.
with a comeback.
I think that just see how it plays out. Hopefully, that doesn't impact them
Yeah.
trying to make a move. Like, you can't really like be mad at Jury if they don't win this year if you handcuff him and not let
Yeah.
him trade that first round pick to get another player to add onto this roster to go for the cup. Like, what makes no sense to me is that you'd want the Rangers to have. Would you rather have the Rangers go and draft 24th at the Spear
Yeah.
or
Or
Sphere,
win
and
a
then
Stanley Cup.
or be announced as like, oh, you're 2024 Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares if you have a
It's
pick or not?
yeah. And let's be honest here. Not trying to be negative, but what are the chances that 24th pick really works out? Probably not great.
I mean, we haven't really. I mean, I like Lafreniere and Kako, but like any of those guys are
Yeah.
superstars, right?
No.
And those were high draft picks.
This is your best chance to win a cup. This time
Yeah.
frame. And if you're looking in the future, then it's ridiculous. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, maybe there's a world. I mean, you could probably make a trade without giving up a first, but it's
You
not going to
could.
be easy. I think you think you can get Jenner for less than that.
I think no, just because I think he's got years on his deal. I think
Yeah.
it'd be hard to get someone that is decent with years on their contract. Same thing
Yeah.
as like for Toronto, where you're going to get multiple years. Probably going to have to give one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully they make a move soon, though, because we were talking about it before the show started. A year ago tomorrow, February 9th, Friday, was when they made the Vladimir Tarasenko deal. So maybe 1 year later, we trade for Tarasenko again tomorrow. Maybe.
You never know. You never know.
Never
It
know.
could. Definitely is possible.
Anything's possible. Quickly here to close things out. Any other closing thoughts? And what do you expect? What are your expectations here over the next 2-3 games in Chicago, Flames, and in Montreal?
What day is the Montreal game? Is that Wednesday?
Thursday. So we might have a podcast probably up before then.
All right.
Goal scores.
Yeah, we did that too. But as far as the next couple games, we'll see how the goal. I'm curious to see what happens with the goaltending.
Mm-hmm.
Can Lafreniere and Kako score some goals? That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Get some points. Maybe get the power play. I know we didn't really talk much about the power play, but hopefully the power play can start getting going. And should be 2 wins. I mean, you're the better team. You're playing well. The Chicago game has to be a win. You can't lose those 2 points with a team like that.
No.
And the Flames game should be a win too. So we'll just go off those 2 games. Should be wins. And then for the games for goal scoring, I know we haven't gotten any, but I think we're both at 1 so far.
Yeah.
We've only did it like halfway through the season, but I'll go with I'll go Kreider against the Blackhawks and Lafreniere against the Flames.
At some point, Mika's got to score a goal, right?
Just do it. You should just pick him until he scores.
Yeah, Mika against Chicago. It's bad when Mika doesn't do anything against Tampa.
Yeah, I mean that's like prime. That's where he scores all his points.
Yeah, so I'll go Mika against Chicago. Flames. Let's see. Let's go back here a little bit. Who scored the last time we played the Flames? You had Lafreniere, Kreider, Gustafsson. Flames. I'm gonna go. Since I'm going Mika and the chances he scores is 0, I'm going to go safer bet. I'm going to go Panarin scores against the Flames.
All right. So you did Mika, Panarin, and then I did Kreider,
Lafreniere. Yep. So those are our picks. And yeah, the power play's got to be a lot better. They're not even getting much like pressure.
Not shooting the clock.
You hope it, yeah.
Not even
shooting.
Like just Zibanejad doesn't shoot.
No.
He stopped shooting.
When he does, he misses the net.
He doesn't shoot anymore, though.
No.
He's got to start shooting more.
Yeah, it's the power play's been last night was ugly a little bit. It's funny, this team right now, it's not common to see the team play better 5-on-5 than they are on the power play, because usually it's the complete
shockingly
opposite.
It's the Rangers we're talking about.
Yeah. Here we are, they're playing better 5-on-5 than their power play. You get the power play going. You hope it's just a slump, but the Blackhawks tomorrow night. You should be able to
They're
get
not very
something
good on the
generated.
penalty kill, so yeah.
Good opportunity. So good opportunity tomorrow in the next game. I don't want to take these opponents lightly because it is hockey. It's just one of 82. Anything could happen any night, but these are games that are some good stat padding games. Like if there was a game for Mika to go out there and score, it's the Blackhawks. Like go out there, score.
Can't score
You
against the
score 5
Blackhawks.
goals. They're not any good. And the last time we played Chicago, we beat them 4-1. You should be able to beat them 4-1, 5-1, walk out of there with a win. Give Igor some confidence if he starts, all that good stuff. So that'll do it for episode 19 of Talking Rangers. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. We got a lot more content coming your way. Highlights after each game.
Follow us on X too.
Yep. Follow us on X. The
Talking Rangers
Elon
on
Musk
X.
Twitter. Yep. Talking Rangers on X. Talking Rangers here on YouTube. And a lot more content coming your way. As always, hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching. See you in the next one.